Hi, my name is Ken Jones, and I'm here to share my story. From a neighborhood, I grew up in public housing in Pittsburg. And I got bused from my neighborhood to a predominantly white school. And at first, I didn't understand it, because they took the buses to the back of the school. We didn't pay any attention to it, but unknown to us, they were protesting in the front. There's a lot of parents out there. And it wasn't until we went out for recess that we realized that the parents were protesting against us, not wanting us to, they didn't want us to come to the school. So the first time, because I was so young, I didn't completely process it. I spoke about it to my parents, and prior to that, I was wondering why my mother was so concerned, about us going to that school, and and but the teachers, I have to give credit. The teachers there, they were embracing, and after that first semester, you really didn't think about it. It was a positive experience. But one thing I do remember though was we would do intramural sports the day after school, and there was a streetcar that we would have to catch to get to town, and there was a few times where the streetcar driver would stop, and as we're about to walk and get on the streetcar, he would close the door and take off, and everybody on the streetcar would laugh about it, and so that stuck with us because like, come on, we're out here, we're little kids, and you're doing this to us. Mainly, since it was a all-white neighborhood, sometimes, like I said, when we were at recess, you had some older kids, high school kids or whatever, they call us the N-word, from the street or whatever, but other than that, we really didn't have any other problems. I always remember my father, when we go to the park, I never understood sometimes why we went to, particular parks over other parks. Then as I got older, I realized that, some parks weren't basically, even though Pittsburgh is a northern city, we're still segregated. So, there's certain parks that you weren't allowed to go to or weren't welcome as an African American. At PRTC, which is the local transportation company, I was the manager of the dispatch department. And the new executive director came on board about 3 years ago. And he instituted a reduction in force. And the reason given was finances. But once I realized what was going on, everybody that he was rifting was only African American or Latino. So once I realized that, as being the only manager that was really impacted, I had a discussion with them, and what they told me was, if I kept my people in their place, that I would be safe and that they would create a position for me. That wasn't acceptable to me, because once I and I didn't find this out until probably about a year ago. But once I started doing research, I realized that the average white salary at PRTC is $95,000. Average Black or Latino salary is only $48,000. So, having that gap, if it was really about finances and really about money, then they would have included white people in it, and in the RIF. And, since then it's even become, more clear that it wasn't about money. Because 3 months after he did the RIF, he started creating positions and hiring white people in a job. So it's been a slap in the face to a lot of them, because like I said, I have one lady now, she's, in hundreds of dollars worth of medical debt, because they reduce her medical benefits. So it's not just discrimination, it's like economic violence that occurs too. And so that's what I'm still fighting, They expect us to just go away and just drop it, but I refuse to. Racism is such a powerful thing, and white supremacy is such a powerful thing that sometimes the victims don't understand how much of that psyche they actually take on and start actually believing, you know, maybe not consciously but subconsciously, that yeah, they are better than us. But, you know, what they do, you know, it's all right because we're not as good. No, that's not acceptable. And I don't understand that thinking, but I see it all. You know, and you know, it's discouraging. You have these young people, you know, being active, starting to pay attention. Politicians do not like anybody to pay attention to or notice anything. So to me, it's inspiring, you know, and you know, and just to see that there, you know, wasn't just a 1 weekend, 2 weekends, and you know, let's move on. No, they're staying focused, and the one thing that I hope is that they get policy, that they you know, and this is where people my generation and some of our elders who, you know, went through the civil rights movement can come and help craft policy, you know, because you know, a lot of us, you know, don't have the energy that young people have, but if we come in as a movement and not only mentor them, you know, but you know, if there's no policy, if there's no action, if there's no change, then everybody's just going on walks. That's all marching is, just a walk. But if you affect policy, if there's change that's done, that's powerful. You know, and I always tell people, you know, we don't realize, and they don't want us to realize how much power we actually have and how much power we actually give away. And you know, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to vote, you know, but voting is power. That speaks louder than anything else that you can do, you know. And if you want to get, trust me, when the kids came out to the board meeting, they got their attention. And you know, I just hope that they continue to come. And you know, to me, it's a shame that that board meeting isn't packed all the time with African American pastors, with fraternities, sororities, you know. Why aren't they paying attention to the things until something happens? Well, when something happens, it's kind of too late because that person is a victim now. We want to prevent victims from occurring in the first place. And so, you know, it's just inspiring to see the young people and seeing them focused and then to see how diverse the crowd is too. So it's not just, you know, one group where they can just say, well, they just have a grievance. No. You know, it lets me know that young people, they actually get it. They're seeing that everything's interconnected. You know, if none of us if none of us rise together, then America will never reach its full potential. And that's just, you know, and that's part of what why we suffer today.